this was another thing that I wanted to talk about, Lala Kent. And I don't know, I'm starting to find that certain people, like I think Lala and Sheena and, Lala's still in the Valley, but I feel like the best way to keep your podcast and things going would be by talking about other people in that universe, which is fine, rightfully so, if you're in the universe, I get it. But she was talking about how I never thought I was going to say this, but in 2024 on Untraditionally Lala, she talked about when Mauricio and Kyle were splitting, but she believes in girls code. That's not how you met your baby daddy, girl. And I love you, Lala, but you didn't believe in girl code then. She believes in girl code, and this whole thing, when she talked about Mauricio and Kyle, he slid into her DMs and asked if he could buy her a coffee. But she's like, I'm not gonna go against girl code. See what I'm doing?
If there's one thing reality TV fans know about Lala Kent, it's that she has never been afraid to speak her mind. Whether on Vanderpump Rules, The Valley, her podcast, or social media, Lala built her entire public image around being direct, confrontational, and unapologetic. But now, that same outspoken personality has pulled her into unexpected drama with Mauricio Umansky, and the situation is becoming far messier than most people expected. What originally sounded like a casual podcast story has now escalated into Mauricio publicly calling Lala a effing liar, threatening to release receipts, and accusing her of completely twisting the narrative surrounding a private message he sent her.
What the hell is going on with Lala Kent and Mauricio Umansky? Headlines have been swirling that this unlikely Bravo duo is actually feuding right now. Let's get into everything that we know so far. So Lala was talking about the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills reunion on her podcast when the topic of Kyle and Mauricio got brought up. She reveals that a very long time ago, Mauricio actually slid into her DMs. This was at the height of the news surrounding Kyle and Mauricio's split, and Lala, just like every other Bravo podcaster, was talking about Kyle and Mauricio likely taking Kyle's side. And it seems like Mauricio was not too happy with what she said, because he actually DM'd Lala and was like, hey, I heard you're talking about me. Do you want to get coffee to basically clear the air? Lala shares that she thought this was really weird, rightfully so, and maybe it was some sort of damage control, and says she never opened or responded to it. Mauricio was then caught by TMZ and asked about this whole situation, where he claims that Lala is a complete liar.
Oh man, she's such a fucking liar. It's not even funny, dude. Like, really? Like...
Now, I thought he was gonna say, this never happened, I never DM'd her, but he proceeds to simply say she was lying about not opening the message.
She said in the podcast that she never opened the text. I'm gonna post the text. The last word on my text, and it's a long text, says, let's have coffee. And in her podcast, she says, I invited you to have coffee.
And that he was actually going to release the DM to clear this all up.
I mean, I was thinking about actually posting the post.
But Mauricio, the release DM isn't doing you any favors because it says exactly what Lala said it did. And while yes, maybe she did open the message, I think that's besides the point here. Whatever you say your intentions were, it was still extremely weird to do this. Lala's right, so many people were talking about this split and the drama of their relationship. But Mauricio chooses to single out Lala and slide into her DMs, asking her to go get a coffee and talk about all of this. There is no world in which this is not weird. Mauricio, you dirty dog, we know exactly what you were trying to do here. And I'm glad Lala did not take the bait. Team Lala all the way.
Honestly, this entire situation perfectly represents what reality TV culture has become in 2026. Everyone has a podcast, everyone has a platform, everyone tells their side publicly first, and then private messages, screenshots, and receipts start surfacing online almost immediately afterward. The drama began after Lala discussed a DM she allegedly received from Mauricio during an episode of her podcast, Untraditionally Lala. According to Lala, Mauricio reached out to her after she discussed his separation from Kyle Richards on one of her earlier podcasts. Lala claimed Mauricio invited her to grab coffee, but she insisted there was not a chance she would meet up with him, and also claimed she never even opened the message. At first, many fans online treated the situation like harmless Bravo crossover drama. However, Mauricio clearly did not see it that way at all.
Hell to the nah. To the no. Hell to the no. What? So hold on. Mauricio just called out Lala Kent because when she first said that he reached out, I'm not gonna lie, the way that I interpreted it, unless I was like missing something, was, are you trying to claim that Mel over here like hit on you? But then he said she's an effing moron, practically, and that is not what happened. And then he ends up saying, okay, you know what, I'm gonna drop the DM. The DM was addressing her, saying that he moves funny, kind of saying that he like might be a little bit of a player through all of the Kyle Richards stuff and whatnot. And he said, you can either have a conversation with me because you have a big platform, have a conversation with me over the phone or in person with coffee. What is it? And she didn't. He put her on blast.
While leaving Craig's restaurant in Los Angeles, Mauricio stopped to address the situation publicly and completely unloaded on Lala's version of events. He directly accused her of lying and claimed she intentionally misrepresented what actually happened between them. According to Mauricio, he absolutely did send Lala a message, but not because he was romantically interested in her. Instead, he explained that he reached out because Lala had been publicly talking shit about him and speculating about his separation from Kyle. That detail changes the entire context of the situation. Mauricio described the message as more of a confrontation and clarification than flirtation. He explained that it was a long message in which he challenged her commentary and then offered to either talk by phone or grab coffee to discuss things directly.
Anything to report on your dating life?
I am dating, which is like a good thing.
Okay.
And it scares me because I'm actually feeling like I want things that I had said I don't want.
Okay. Well, that's called maturing.
Like,
and
I'm like,
yes.
marriage maybe could be fun. Having a baby with a man could be fun.
Good.
Like, I don't know.
Yes.
I'm just, whatever. I'm open to whatever.
No, whatever. Okay. Not to be graphic, but are you getting your pipes cleaned?
That has been happening.
Okay, good.
The detail that made Mauricio especially angry involved Lala's claim that she never opened the message. Mauricio pointed out that the invitation to coffee appeared at the very bottom of the DM. According to him, the only way Lala would know the message included an invitation for coffee is if she had actually opened and read the message herself. That specific detail immediately became the center of the internet debate. Suddenly, people were questioning whether Lala intentionally framed the situation to make it sound more flirtatious or scandalous than it actually was. Eventually, TMZ and other outlets reportedly obtained screenshots of the alleged DM itself. Based on the wording, Mauricio's version of events appears far more nuanced than the original public narrative. The alleged message reportedly began with Mauricio saying, "Hey Lala, how are you? I'm wondering, since you seem to have an opinion and speculations about me as to whether I'm a player or not, I would like to talk to you." At the end of the message, he allegedly added, "By phone or happy to get a coffee?" When looking at the actual wording, the message reads far less like flirting and much more like someone frustrated with public commentary, wanting to address it directly. That is where the situation becomes uncomfortable for Lala. If Mauricio's explanation is accurate, then the internet narrative shifted quickly from Mauricio slid into Lala's DMs to Lala may have exaggerated a private message for podcast content. That does not necessarily mean Mauricio handled the situation perfectly himself. Publicly calling someone a effing liar outside a restaurant while threatening to post receipts is also messy behavior. At the same time, it becomes easier to understand his frustration if he genuinely believed his message was being intentionally reframed publicly as something romantic, when that was not the actual intention. This entire situation also reveals something much larger happening within Bravo culture and reality TV in general. The lines between real-life podcast content, reality television storylines, and online gossip have become completely blurred. Every cast member now has a podcast. Every private interaction becomes possible content. Every DM becomes a headline. Every rumor becomes monetized discussion. Eventually, people stop communicating privately because they know almost anything can later become entertainment online. That is exactly what this situation feels like. Another reason the story exploded so quickly is because Mauricio is still heavily tied to public speculation surrounding his separation from Kyle Richards. Ever since they announced their separation after 27 years of marriage, fans have analyzed every woman Mauricio is seen with, every public outing, every social media post, and every rumor connected to him. The second Lala casually mentioned Mauricio messaging her for coffee, the internet immediately assumed romantic intentions because people already expect scandal surrounding Mauricio's personal life at this point. However, this situation may have exposed something much bigger. Viewers are becoming exhausted by how aggressively public every single interaction has become. Lala represents this modern reality TV era perfectly because she understands how headlines spread. She understands how clips go viral online. She understands how one sentence from a podcast can instantly become a Bravo headline across social media. That does not automatically mean she lied intentionally. However, it does mean she fully understands how storytelling and perception work within reality TV culture. The situation also revealed a different side of Mauricio publicly. For years, Mauricio was viewed as one of the calmer, more likable husbands on The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Even during his separation from Kyle, many viewers still viewed him relatively positively compared to other Bravo men. This situation showed him differently. He appeared angry, frustrated, and defensive. Honestly, that reaction may be understandable because it is impossible to ignore how exhausting it must be to go through a public separation while every interaction is constantly analyzed online, like a reality TV clue board. Mauricio appears emotionally exhausted by public speculation surrounding his personal life. Lala, meanwhile, appears comfortable turning public speculation into content. Once those two personalities collided publicly, the situation exploded.